as an individual, I'm showing you what is going on in front of me at this very moment. And it is important that this very moment is broadcasted live for everybody to see.
Okay, and what were you guys doing in Beijing?
The Chinese government is trying to use the Olympic Games to legitimize the occupation of Tibet and to whitewash their human rights record. So really, more than anything, we were there to make sure that the truth gets out, to tell the other side of the story.
And I was there to do what I do best, which is pretty much show the world what I see through my eyes. And that's through every resource imaginable. Whether it's, going straight to live on a quick stream and broadcasting directly to the internet and showing what I'm seeing, or whether it's using my cameras just to show what life is all about at the other end of the line.
Let's talk about then what happened with this specific protest that you documented.
Over 1,000 Tibetans are in jail in Tibet, preemptively ahead of the Olympics. So we've come here to speak out about that. We've also come
There were four protests that we organized in Beijing over the week. The first was probably the most technically difficult. Banner hangs on some very large poles right near the bird's nest, that really famous National Olympic Stadium that they built. And then the third one was really powerful. It was a die-in where people were draped in Tibetan flags, had fake blood, and basically lying on the ground in the middle of Tiananmen Square, symbolic victims. Large crowd of Chinese standing around watching. The blue uniform police standing by and not intervening for a while. And, seeing these Chinese citizens watch the police stand by while a protest is happening in the middle of Tiananmen Square, it was really a profound moment. The fourth was just yesterday, Sunday, where nearby, the same spot, Tiananmen Square, we attempted to unfurl a banner that said Tibetans are dying for freedom, and there was a Tibetan woman there with us that had a Tibetan flag. Undercover officers jumped on us immediately and pulled the flags away. People were punched and kicked, and nobody severely injured, but it wasn't a whole lot of fun either. And they also grabbed
It was actually this flag.
And they are very uptight about that flag. The Tibetan flag's banned all in China. It symbolizes a country that they don't believe exists.
Even though that there were hundreds, there was like 100 Chinese in the area, and they all had cameras. And it was okay for them to go ahead and videotape and to document what was going on. But it was not okay for a Westerner to be videotaping and documenting what was going on, because they knew that this stuff was going up online. And once I was detained, they actually had made mention. They said, you were in Tiananmen Square yesterday. You were there the day before that also. And that footage is what got me kicked out. It was the fact that there were individuals who were putting up this information online and documenting these protests, and they didn't like this fact because it was an independent source of media. And there was something that they couldn't control unless they kicked you out of the country completely.
A reporter for the Associated Press in particular really struck me when she was saying how she didn't want to do interviews with people anymore because everybody that she talked to and cited by name disappeared. And she felt like that was how the Chinese government was really that was their new tool. They were basically, sure, you can interview anyone you want. We're going to allow freedom of the press, but you're only going to be able to interview them once, because they're going to be gone.
Human rights in Tibet. Tibetans are dying for freedom. Human rights in Tibet. Tibetans are dying for
To be honest, to be detained not only in the back of a van, but to be detained inside of an airplane for close to 25 hours trying to get home, but also just to be walking around in the city that you know that there are cameras that are constantly following you. You don't know what's going to come down because there is no transparency within the system. Absolute corruption and just the fear of that your life could end at any particular moment. And to have this little device, this cell phone with that magical little SIM chip inside of it to broadcast narration of an individual or a group of individuals was it just took me back, and it stirs up emotions that to be in that ground and to know that this phone can radically change a political argument. It speaks to itself.